Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Schwa Mill, where every single Saturday at this time we try to help you craft your accent. So, my name is Jeff. I'm going to be your guide on this lovely Saturday. And let me know what's happening this weekend. What are you guys up to? I know my wife is she is organizing a chess tournament right now. So you guys can let me know, one, if you're a chess player, two, if you have other things going on with your family or friends, things like that. Just want to say some quick hellos before we start getting into the pronunciation things. Hello to Edward checking in. Hello also to my mom checking in as well. Edward notes this is way better than Saturday Night Live. I don't know if I can compete with Saturday Night Live from like the 80s, but yeah, I mean, we're trying. We're doing what we can here. Hello, also the show checking in once more. Great to see you again, Miss. So, what's going to happen today is we're going to take a listen to your pronunciation files in American English and try to give some suggestions and some feedback to help you achieve an even more natural sound. Maybe you want to send in your own pronunciation file. Well, if you go to the video description page, what you'll see is a link to a Google document, which I'm going to walk you through the entire process of how to send in your own pronunciation files. So that way we can hear you and give very personalized feedback for you, all for free, just like we do every single Saturday at this time. I have just posted the link, which you'll be able to use to access this as well. So just keep an eye out on that. But let's take a look at this whole process. Give me a moment just to share. All right, so we need to see this. Cool. So this is our Google document. That's that link I just sent you. And you're going to see a bunch of people have already sent us their files. So great. Just zoom in a little bit. And one of the things you're going to see at the top of the document is you're going to, if it lets me go up, looks like everything's being a little slow today. Zooming in. Well, basically at the top of the document, whenever my browser chooses to let me do that, you're going to see at the top of the document a link. What that link is going to do is it's going to direct you to a site called vocab.com. This is what the site looks like. Sorry, Google's being a little slow today. On the Google Doc, on vocab.com, the very first thing you're probably going to see is a big red record button right here. So you're going to press that record button. Once you're finished doing that, it's going to ask you to save. Once you save, it's going to take you to this screen. And you can take this link right here. You put it in our document, which I might need to reload if it's not going to let me scroll through. And then we'll be on our way. So we'll be able to hear what you have sent us. So we're super excited about that opportunity. Let me know, by the way, in the chat, how many times you have seen our live stream. Again, we have migrated the Schwa Mill from our original Fluent American page to give it its own dedicated space, which is exciting for us. Again, let me just refresh that browser to make sure I can kind of move around. Otherwise, it's going to be super difficult to do the stream if I can't move around there. That's a little better, but Google is having some trouble today. I don't know why. Just going to try moving things around that way. Super slow. I don't know. You guys let me know if the Google Doc's going slow for you as well. Oh, maybe it's because is that the reason? Because it's kind of on two screens? Yeah, no. Still can't see the top. This is so interesting. The joys of live streaming. Hello to Emmanuel checking in. Great to see you, sir. All right, well, Google may not want to cooperate with me today, but I'm going to forge ahead anyway. They can't stop me. I think that kind of highlights all the things I need to show you in terms of how to submit your own audio files. But if you think of some other questions and concerns as we go through feedback for everybody, you can also feel free to post some questions in the chat, and I'll be happy to do my best to answer. But let's get right into listening to you. Oh, let me add myself there, right? Again, it's not Lido, it's more Little.
The G host was class.
Are you feeling that here, or here? All right, so I have my headphones on, so I'm going to be able to hear you. I'm going to share my screen so that way you'll be able to see what I see as well. Keep it simple. So give me a moment to share my screen. Edward is saying they're also been having some Google issues things too. Thank you. I appreciate you letting me know that, man. I appreciate you. At least I can see what I need to see for this part. But I would like to see those top lines at some point. Come on, Google. I know I have stuff over there. Go home, Google. You're drunk. All right, well, let's start off with just a file. I mean, look how like zoomed in this is and things like that. And I'm actually like 80%, 70%, 60%. This is wild. Up. I got an extra line. That bought me a line. Oh my gosh. And if I go up, it just keeps going. This is so wild. Now, I'm going to try one thing. I'm just going to try to put this over here. Now I have everything. Wait a tab. If it lets me. Doesn't like that. Okay. So that tab is gone. Sorry if the connection kind of goes fuzzy. It doesn't seem to like all that action. I think Google's a little too demanding. Okay. Let's take a look at our first file here. I'm going to add some timestamps while I'm thinking about it too. So first timestamp, we were at the 6:40 mark. Sharing screen, sharing audio. Here's our first file. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
It's Patrick! What a rainy day. So you will stay with me until Mrs. Dorothy comes back.
All right. Well, that was exciting. I had no idea what was going to happen there. Okay, so let me see if I can find which file that was. I think it's this one here. I think the singer was Shoke. And I think Shoke is just fixing things up. So we're talking about higher pitches, and Emmanuel notes also so high. Yeah. Shoke's hitting all the pitches. Shattered glass. Which file was it? I think it was this one, right? Okay, so let's take a quick look at this. Again, you might, just for the sake of audio, you may need to turn down your speakers for this. My apologies for that. I'll try to lower it a bit too. Let's get into this. Is this a cat? Is this like meow? Meow? Maybe? Did you hear that breath on that door? I'm just kidding. But that was a great echo in there. Everyone's adding like sound effects and things like that. You guys are so talented with your audio files.
It's Patrick!
Okay, so how about that? That not the pitches I was expecting, but also very natural sounding. Let's listen to that It's Patches part again. I'm going to slightly lower the audio.
It's Patrick!
Like it's patches, it's patches. So that sort of pitch pattern is actually pretty common. Like, hello, it's me, or like, hello, delivery, like things like that. A very common thing, like if you're knocking on a door, you're trying to just like let people know who you are. That's a pretty common strategy right there. So I do like that.
What a rainy day.
What a rainy day.
Patrick! What a rainy day.
What a rainy day. To me, that pattern doesn't feel the most common. I mean, maybe it's just me, but I think like what a rainy day. Like I feel like a lot of times like day would get heavier emphasis. Like what a rainy day. What a rainy day. You could also even go higher on what. Like what a rainy day. Like what a rainy day. Let's hear the original again.
day.
Put it back up more.
What a rainy day.
What a rainy day versus what a rainy day. What a rainy day. What a rainy. What a rainy. So if we're using the pattern that you're using, that might be a way to get it to sound maybe a little bit more natural to me.
What a rainy day.
Rainy. Like what a rainy. I would go down on the E sound, but keep the ray part. And I think that just doing that little change, I think will give you a more natural sound, I'll be honest.
So you will stay with me until Mrs. Dorothy comes back.
Mrs. Dorothy. Until Mrs. Dorothy. I feel like you added a Z sound there, which you don't need. Until Mrs. Dorothy. Until Mrs. Dorothy comes back.
What a rainy day. So you will stay with me until...
So you will stay with me. That's fine. So you'll stay with me. A lot of times you will get reduced and contracted to just like y'all. So you'll stay with me. So you'll stay with me. So just a quick note there on the you'll.
So you will stay with me until Mrs. Dorothy comes back.
Until Mrs. Dorothy comes back.
Stay with me until Mrs. Dorothy comes back.
Comes back. Comes back. I would personally not add much stress or go too high on the pitch on comes there, like till they come back, because come back is you treat it more like a phrasal verb, so you would expect back to get the emphasis there. Just a note.
So you will stay with me until Mrs. Dorothy comes back.
So you'll stay with me until Mrs. Dorothy comes back. Until Mrs. Dorothy comes back. A couple different options there. You could stress Mrs. Dorothy if you wanted. It's not necessary to. So you'll stay with me until Mrs. Dorothy comes back. You'll stay with me until Mrs. Dorothy comes back. Comes back. Or you'll stay with me until Mrs. Dorothy comes back. So you could stress Dorothy and back. You could also do that. So you'll stay with me until Mrs. Dorothy comes back. The intonation on back I want to hear.
So you will stay with me until Mrs. Dorothy comes back.
Back. Almost kind of sounds like almost like a witch kind of quality. Back. like some. I'm kind of expecting like a cackle or something after this.
You will stay with me until Mrs. Dorothy comes back.
Comes back. Maybe even like you could also do kind of a sharper falling intonation on back too, because that's kind of the end of your sentence. But I do think this can work. Let me play that part again, especially that like second half.
That's it. What a rainy day. So
Oh, quick note. I also had one last comment on rainy.
day. Day. What a rainy day.
You know, another option too is you could also weaken the end sound on rainy as well. Like, what a rainy day. What a rainy day. The way you said it's perfectly fine. Just talking about alternatives here. You could get a weaker end sound. Your tongue doesn't even necessarily need to touch the top of your mouth. Like rainy or like rainy. What a rainy day. Like something like that. You could also weaken the end sound if you wanted. See if anything else.
So you will stay with me until Mrs. Dorothy comes back.
Yeah. I think that kind of highlights all the major things that I would identify. So a lot of things just kind of alternatives to consider when you're pronouncing this. Shok, if you have questions for me about anything, be sure to let me know. But hopefully you found that helpful. We do have some questions I want to take a look at, or comments, starting with my mom saying, lighten up, Patches doesn't want to go out and get all wet. Fair. I don't have much of an argument about that. That's fair. I am too strict. I am sorry, Mom. And then we have this question. Could you shorten until to till? Yeah, that's fine. Like, and Emmanuel says, great performance. Yes. Great performance. Quality. And Patches had a great performance as well, yes. But could you shorten until you'll stay with me until Mrs. Dorothy comes back. You'll stay with me until Mrs. Dorothy comes back. Until. Yeah, I think either of those are fine. You'll hear both. In people's speech, you will hear both. If you guys have other questions about that file, be sure to let me know. Okay. Yay to Shoke. Yay, Shoke. Perfect. Yay. Okay. We're going to move on. So first one was 640. Next one is 1513. Sounds like a lucky number, doesn't it? Just me? Let's take a listen to this one. We're going to up the audio. See what we got.
I'm just going to set myself up so that I can consistently and reliably try to create things more efficiently that are of high quality.
Okay, a lot of moving parts of this one. Emmanuel and I were talking about this yesterday, Mission English. And here is our audio. Oh god, which one was it? It was this one. Okay, so let's see what we got.
I'm just going to set myself up so that I can consistently and reliably try to create things more efficiently that are of high quality.
Okay. And Emmanuel, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were shadowing this from someone. So some of the, I haven't heard the original audio, so, you know, take everything I'm about to say with a grain of salt and apply what you need to apply to your own speech. Okay. Because I have not heard the original audio. Look at this guy. This guy just thinks he can just like wander in here unannounced and just like take over the stream. Okay. The nerve of some people. The nerve, I say. Good to see you, man. Talking about some other reductions too. Edward mentions that going to becomes gonna. Actually just made a short about that as well. Ways to say going to. Emmanuel says they have the original audio. I kind of want to, for now, I kind of just want to hear what you're doing and then kind of take a look. I'll be honest. But if I'm like way off base, you can tell me in the chat. You're like, Jeff, you're crazy. That's not what I intended at all. It's very different than what the native speaker was doing. All right, let's take a moment. Let's listen to this again. Let's put up the text first.
I'm just going to set myself up so that I can consistently.
So my first question would be I'm guessing that that's intentional, but to me, you don't really need this stress I. I'm just going to set myself up so that I can consistently and reliably, like personally, that's how I would have read it. I don't think you need that stress on I, but that's just what I would do. You know, you do, you know, if that's what the original person did, though, feel free to maintain it.
I'm just going to set myself up. I'm just going to.
I would ask. So right now you're putting a stress. I'm just going to, which again, maybe an original file is fine. I think a lot of times though, you wouldn't get the stress on going to. You'd often get the stress on like in this case, like I'm just going to set myself up. So, you know, I would either consider stressing the I'm or the set or both. I'm just going to set myself up or I'm just going to set myself up. Like it's something like that, you know, so I would just say, go back to your original file. Just make sure that the stress is on going and not one of those other alternatives. Just kind of double check the stress there. Again, like Edward mentioned, going to often does get reduced to like gonna. There are other alternatives. Yeah. And other parts to that.
I'm just going to set myself up.
Going to, a lot of times going to, I would also say listen to the original file to see if they're saying going to, because another very common alternative for that is like going to. So a lot of times that T becomes almost like a fast D sound and that O becomes a schwa. So instead going to becomes going to. It's just another alternative that may be helpful for people to know.
Myself up so that I can consistently.
Set myself up so that I. Emmanuel does note stress is on too. I'm just going to. So are you stressing too? If you're saying the stress is there, is that what you're doing?
I'm just going to.
You're not stressing too. Just a note. You're stressing going. Just a heads up. I'm just going to versus I'm just going to
I'm just going to sell myself out so that I can.
He was not reducing going to go. Okay, going to. Okay, so he's keeping the going to. So make sure he's saying going to or going to. Just a note there. Another thing to check out.
I'm just going to sell myself out so that.
I'm just going to set myself up. Set myself up. I would listen also to how he says up because there's a chance that the pitch on up is actually going to be a little lower. Set myself up. I'm just going to set myself up. And then it's probably going to be doing something like set myself up so that I set myself up so that I. So this is kind of just going down, 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 and then back up. Okay. And things. So I'm not saying that's what he did, but just kind of an awareness of another very common pattern if you're looking for alternatives that you may hear on that.
So that I can consistently and reliably try to.
Okay, and everyone knows that we're keeping the T on too. Okay.
So that I can consistently and reliably try to create things more efficiently that are of high quality.
You know what, Emmanuel? Send me, if you have the audio, put it in the. How can you send it to me? Can you if you have a way to put it in the document, that'd be cool. Otherwise, we might have to take a look. We can take a look in Mission English later. Okay.
To sell myself out so that I can consistently and reliably.
Let's listen to consistently and reliably.
And reliably try to put so that I can consistently and reliably.
Okay. I like your consistently. I like your release down there. Let's listen to that again.
And reliably and consistently.
Consistently. Like I like that dark L sound. It's not very overpowering, which is great.
And reliably.
The L sound and reliably is a little heavier. Blee. I'm wondering if adding that B sound before the dark L makes it a little heavier. Because I feel like consistently and reliably versus consistently and reliably. Do you hear the difference between mine and yours there? Just a note.
And reliably.
Also, the E sound is a little weaker. Bleh versus blee. Okay. Again, you can keep the tip of your tongue down. Consistently and reliably. Okay.
Reliably. Try to create things more efficiently.
Same thing with efficiently. Efficiently.
There are create things more efficiently.
Efficiently. Maybe it's a little bit firmer than that. Efficient. No, it kind of feels like le.
More efficiently.
Efficiently. Can you hear that difference there? Okay. And efficiently.
Of high quality.
Of higher quality. Higher quality.
They are of high quality.
I would also like the breath to keep flowing from higher qual. I like that breath to keep flowing, just to like a touch more from that R to that qual sound. Okay. But let's listen to the original audio there. Let me see. I know I missed a couple things in the comments, then we'll do a quick comparison. Allora, che cosa ha detto Danny? Danny ha detto, we Italian style and shake the room we enter one. Everyone jumps in. I mean, a room full of Italians is very different than a room of other nationalities. That is definitely true. Good to see you, man. I'm glad you can make the stream today. What are some other things you missed? Oh, Denny! Coming in here saying the high praise to Emmanuel, as he should. You sound so different in a good way. Good job, friend. Yes. He's been doing the work. The real question is, Denny, have you been doing the work? I know you sent me an audio file. I'm just messing. Okay, so let's I want to do a quick comparison. Everyone's figuring out Vocaroo way better than I am. They're like sending other audio files and things like that. Everyone's real fancy. I am not. Ma Edward, tu sai parlare in italiano? E non me l'hai detto? That's wild. Okay. So one more time, this is the original.
Just going to sell myself out so that I can consistently and reliably try to create things more efficiently that are of high quality.
Okay, and the original.
I'm just going to set myself up so that I can consistently and reliably try to create things more efficiently that are of higher quality.
Yeah, we got some pitch things going. Okay, so let's kind of just do like some real short sections for comparison's sake.
I'm just going to
I'm just going to.
I'm just going to set myself up. So
Okay.
that
Pay attention to how he's saying the two.
I'm just going to.
I'm just going to. I'm just going to. So he's actually stressing going. I'm just going to. His pitch is higher on the two.
Set myself up. So
I'm just going to set myself up.
I'm just going to set myself up.
I'm just going to set myself up. That's what he's doing. I'm just going to set myself up.
I'm just going to set myself up.
Okay, lots of pitch differences. You heard a pitch difference? Because he's doing, I'm just going to set myself up.
I'm just going to.
No, yours drops. I'm just going to versus I'm just going to
Set myself up.
set myself up. So again, notice the pitch difference there as well. Okay. Elchin has joined us. Welcome, Elchin. Ask how long I'm going to stream for. About another hour and a half, maybe. Give or take.
So that I can consistently.
So that I can consistently.
So that I can consistently.
So that I. The pitch difference. You hear that pitch difference? So that I. Listen to the difference.
That I can.
So that I. Maybe just slightly, just a touch higher. Let me play again.
Can consistently. So that I can.
So that I. So that's kind of how you're doing it. So that I
can I'm just going to set myself up so that I can.
So that I set myself up. So that I set myself up. So that I
Self up so that I can.
set myself up. So that I.
So that I can.
Part of that, might be because you went so low on up. That's kind of throwing me off for that part too. So the set myself up part might actually be okay. I mean, the so that I part might be okay, but it's just to set myself up. I mean, the set part kind of threw me off. Let's listen to the next part.
Consistently and reliably.
Consistently and reliably. Consistently and reliably.
I can consistently and reliably.
He's higher. Consistently and reliably. Consistently and reliably.
And reliably.
Consistently and reliably.
Consistently and reliably.
Consistently and reliably. Consistently and reliably. How are you doing it?
And consistently and reliably.
You're going lower. Consistently and reliably. Notice those pitch differences between his and yours there. Okay, so you're often like to going kind of opposite directions. You're kind of taking things lower, and he's actually taking things a little higher, actually. So he has a lower pitched voice than you, but he's actually hitting higher pitches than you are.
Try to create things more efficiently.
Try to create things more efficiently.
Reliably. Try to create things more efficiently.
Hear how high he goes on efficiently? Try to create things more efficiently. Try to create things more efficiently. Try to create things more efficiently versus.
Okay? Try to create things more efficiently.
You're dropping efficiently, but he's higher, right? Efficiently. He's also stressing create.
Try to create things more.
Try to create things
efficiently.
More efficiently.
That are of higher quality.
That are of higher quality. That are of higher quality. And now he's going down. That are of higher quality.
That are of higher quality.
You dropped a little too fast. That are of higher quality. That are of higher quality. Let's see how he's doing that higher quality part.
Things more efficiently that are of higher quality.
That are of higher quality. That are of higher quality.
Things more efficiently that are of higher quality.
That are of higher quality. That are of higher quality.
More efficiently that are of high quality.
That are of higher. I think there's a bigger difference in pitch in yours between that higher and then the qual. There's a big kind of drop off there, whereas his is slightly smoother. Okay, so I'd pay attention to that. All right, so that's a lot of information there. Emmanuel, if you have any questions about anything I said, be sure to let me know. But I think the biggest, if you're listening to your file and you're listening to his file and you're like, something's different. I don't know what's different. Jeff, help me find out what's different here. I would personally think that it's the range of pitches that you guys are using. I do think there's a bit of a difference there. Okay. Yeah. So put that on the replay that. We're right around the 30-minute mark. So before that, you probably like 25 to 30 is where you want to look. Okay. Denny says, have I been practicing? The answer depends on your review. Ample dodge. We'll take a look, man. We'll take a look. Get excited. Edward says he loves surprises, and Elchin says he's sending us a surprise file. Oh, man. By the way, guys, if you're already learning something, we've only been at this a half hour. There's a lot more to come. But if you have been enjoying this, one way that you can really help me out is by doing this. Like what you're hearing? Let us know by liking and subscribing. All right. What am I doing? They were just like kind of just like stare in the distance, just be like, yeah. What was I doing? Just like completely forget what you were up to. Is it just me? It's probably just me. That happens sometimes. All right, we're moseying right along. Who's next? I'm gonna send some long files. 22 seconds. 4 seconds. Hey, there we go. 5 seconds. 18 seconds. Let's check out this 4-second file. 4 seconds. We're going to remember timestamps, because that's what we do here. We timestamp things. I'm trying to say it into being. 30, 10, 30, 31, 31, 15. What was that? 4-second file. 22 second, 5 second, 18 second. 4 seconds. Who's this?
Winners don't make excuses when the other side plays the game.
I know who this is. Kiet.
Winners don't make excuses when the other side plays the game.
Ding, ding, ding. Denny, what's the Italian version of that? Like when someone gets the correct answer, like ding, 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 like something like that. Is there a noise? Okay, let's get our text. Trying to see if Denny has Denny improved since 2022. Just messing. Hard to tell that from one file. Let's see what Denny's doing now. Okay, so there's our text. Here's our file.
Winners don't make excuses when the other side plays the game.
Okay, the very first thing that kind of stands out to me is the word game. Your A sound gets super, super tense. Game versus plays the game. Plays the game. I don't know if you're shadowing, so it always kind of is dependent on context, but it sounds to me like I would use kind of like a falling intonation, like other side plays the game. Where does that make excuse when the other side plays the game? When the other side plays the game. When the other side plays the game. Even if you use a rising intonation, though, the key thing, though, is for that A sound to get a little bit more breath through. Like, just say A. Okay, so he's shadowing Suits. Cool. I have never actually watched Suits. I'm a horrible person. You can boo me. I've heard it's a very high-quality show, but I've not seen it. I'm sorry if I offended anyone. But I would listen to how they say game. I would listen to how they're saying that A sound.
Game.
A. Can you say like A 3 times? A. And try to link it. Keep the breath flowing. A. Okay. It's like A, aim. That's the progression I would then practice. Make sure you're not shifting your vowel before the M. A, aim. A, aim. A lot of people, when they're making an M sound, this is important stuff for everybody that I want to discuss. Okay, so a lot of people, when they're making an M sound, they're going back to their first language, how their first language makes an M sound. And a lot of times for people's first languages, the M makes a sound like and when you're doing that, your placement's very high. Like if you hold that, your whole head starts to shake, kind of like a bobblehead, like But in American English, a slightly more natural position for that M sound again is going to be a little lower with more breath coming through. So instead of more can you hear a difference between where I'm placing from here and then down here The reason this is important is because when you have an M sound that's after a vowel, if you're using a higher placement M sound, it's going to shift your vowel. So even if you have a great A sound, A, if your M sound is tense and high and being projected from here, it's going to shift your vowel also higher. So A becomes A, aim versus aim. Okay, can you hear that difference? Okay, so just kind of something to watch out for with that A, trying to get that placement a little bit lower. Let's doing all the things. This is the one I wanted. So let's go back to the original part there.
Winners don't make excuses when the other side plays the game.
Winners don't make excuses. So the way you're saying it right now is you're stressing excuses?
Winners don't make excuses when the other side plays the game.
It sounds to me like excuses. Place the game. It sounds like you're stressing excuses in game to me. So I would ask you to go back to the part you're shadowing and make sure that that is correct. That they are stressing excuses in game.
Winners don't make excuses when the other side plays the game.
Okay, cool. Denny says that those are the stresses. Okay, so Denny has passed the first test. Congratulations. I have another test for you, though. Pitches. Are you using the same pitches that they're using? Because right now, you're kind of giving me a range of maybe like 3 pitches.
Winners don't make excuses.
Winners don't make excuses. Winners don't make excuses. Versus like, winners don't make excuses. Winners don't make excuses. Or like, winners don't make excuses. You know, are the range of pitches that they're using the same as yours, with kind of like a 3 to 4 pitch range, or are some of the highs going higher and some of the lows going lower? So that's the next thing I would encourage you to take a look at.
Winners don't make excuses.
Another reason I bring that up is because Italian tends to be a lot flatter than American English. So just make sure that the highs are high and the lows are low. It could be that the pitches are the same, but I do have a suspicion, and I could be wrong, but I have a suspicion that they're using more pitches than you are.
Excuses when the other side plays the game.
Some other little things to compare, I would encourage you to kind of look at from the original audio. Let's listen to the when the part.
Excuses when the other side.
Because you're saying
excuses when the other.
When the other side. Listen to how they're linking when the. Are they saying when the with a very clear th sound, or are they actually kind of reducing the th almost to an n sound, like when the? So that's another thing just to look at. I'm not saying the way you're doing it is wrong. I'm just saying check it to see if you're doing what they're doing.
Is when the other side plays the game.
When the other side. When the other side.
When the other side plays the game.
When the other side plays, because again, you're kind of giving me the same other side plays the. You're almost giving me like the same pitch over and again, like other side plays the game, and then game goes higher.
Side plays the game. The side plays the game. When the other side plays the game.
When the other side plays the game, and that's kind of giving that slight. I don't want to say robotic feel, but it's a little monotone. Okay, so again, I would. The big thing I would say to look at would be pitches here, in all honesty. Pitches, some of those linking things, and also game. For that A sound before that M, just a note. Okay. Let's listen to that file one more time.
Winners don't make excuses when the other side plays the game.
Winners don't make excuses when the other side plays the game. Versus winners don't make excuses when the other side plays the game. Winners don't make excuses when the other side plays the game. That's personally how I would do it. Although that first part, is a very strong statement. So I'm also curious in terms of the intonation pattern there. I'm guessing something might stand out even more. Like winners don't make excuses, or like something like that. Winners don't make excuses. Like I'm guessing one of those stressed words is going to stand out more. And right now everything kind of feels very balanced. So that's kind of just something I'd be paying attention to. Edward makes the note. Actually, winners never make excuses. Fair. Strong statements. I'm a fan of strong statements. Okay. My mom notes. When I said this, I noticed my pitch went up on make and down at the end of excuses. Because she's probably stressing make. Winners don't make excuses. Winners don't make excuses. Like that. Winners don't make excuses. Winner side. When up on make and down make excuses. Make excuses. So it sounds like you're stressing make if that's the pattern you're using. Winners don't make excuses. Because if I were reading it personally, I would probably personally stress like winners or Winners don't make excuses, or maybe even don't potentially. There's so many options here. But yeah, just kind of watch out for the pitches. That's probably my biggest suggestion from that file. Okay. Well, guys, if you're finding this helpful so far, let me know in the chat. Be like, Jeff, you've helped. Or if I've hurt your English, you can say, Jeff, you hurt me. That's also fine too. Just to kind of let you know too, if you are finding this helpful, that's great. I'm super happy to hear that. We have opportunities to study your, that's right, you watching this. We have opportunities during the week to study pronunciation together. So many different services. Just kind of gives you an idea for wherever you are in life. If you're in a position where you just, you're studying pronunciation in your free time, but that's pretty much all you got. You don't really have an opportunity to take a class. That's the whole reason why we're doing this show in our YouTube channel. But if you're trying to take it to the next level too, and you want some more direct feedback for your pronunciation. So for instance, we have a Telegram group that meets every single day on Telegram. I submit a question or a group of words to say, and then you can send in your audio and I get feedback. Or if you want to have actual lessons in our private group class, so basically it's a Facebook group called Mission English, where we meet Monday through Friday. We meet Monday through Friday 2 times a day. This is wild. I mean, who else is doing this? You can meet with me 2 times a day. You pay one price. You can see here, you pay one price for the month, and you get access to up to 40 classes for one price. And these are all the streams. Each of the streams is a half hour. They're timed, they're spaced out across different time zones. So we try to get something that works with you. So for instance, let's say 1:30 p.m. New York time works best for you. Where we do that on Monday, we do that on Tuesday, and we do that again on Friday. Maybe you need that 8 o'clock p.m. New York time slot. Cool. We do that on Monday. We do that on Wednesday. We do that on Thursday. And we also have that morning position as well. So that's one of the benefits of our Mission English course. You pay once for the month. You get access to up to 40 streams for the month that you can join me on, and we work together. Okay. So just something to consider. Okay. Yeah. And of course, if you have questions about that, let me know. Okay. I have to go listen to how they sound. Yeah. Jeff, are you going offline? Am I going offline? No. I'm still here. Don't worry. Got a lot more files to get through. My mom takes a note. I think by pitching the words the way we did, the rest of the sentence logically flows. Talking about placing that stress earlier on where mic and things like that. And weakening excuses from our earlier video. Manuel makes a note about our survey. Yes, by the way, if you guys want to help me out on the Fluent American channel, I actually need to... I can post my survey right now on all our different... Something I try to do every year just to kind of get an idea of how people are enjoying everything going. I want to make sure that we're helping you out as best we can. One of those things that we're doing is a survey on YouTube. You can help me out. I'm posting it in the chat box. So let's do quick questions. I imagine you can finish it in about 2 or 3 minutes. Don't want to take up too much of your time, but just to kind of help me get some idea about how you guys are liking the services that we're offering, and are you finding our videos helpful, and things like that. That would be super, super, super helpful for me. If that link doesn't work, you can let me know too, and I'll see if I can send a different one, but I think that will work. Okay. Orange is in the house. Good to see you. Welcome back. Thank you for doing survey. I appreciate it. Anyways, going back to that note, Manuel has said on our YouTube survey on the question, what do you dislike about Fluent American videos? What kind of question is that? You're the one that did that. I did see that response. I appreciate it. And thank you so much for saying that you like all the videos. I appreciate that as well. Super, super helpful stuff for me. Okay. Shoga's telling me that I helped. We helped. Guys, we're doing the thing. We're helping people. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Isn't it nice helping people? It's so nice to help people. All right. Speaking of helping people, let's try to help more people. Like once you start helping people, you get addicted to it. You just want to help more and more. Appreciate that, Orange saying that it was super helpful. Cool. Yes. So, and that survey is one way you can help me. Another way you can help me is liking the stream if you're learning something. That helps promote the stream to more people. So just pressing that like, thumbs up button. Okay, where are we at in time? We're at 45:05. You guys have spent 45 minutes of your Saturday studying American English pronunciation. That is wild. That is wild. Okay. Wait, is this the one we just did?
Winners don't make.
Yes. Okay, thank you to Denny for sending that file. Got an 18-second, a 5-second, a 22-second, and a 24-second. Let's take a look at the 22-second file.
What you're calling as life right now is like soul bubbles being blown. The entire yogi process or the entire spiritual process is where the bubbles. So the one day when it bursts, there's absolutely nothing left. And the most from the foundation of existence is the knowledge.
Well, this is profound. All right. This is so big. I have to sit up a little higher so you guys can actually see my face. Okay. I'm wondering if this is taken from something once again. So I would say that if we are shadowing something, unless, hey, maybe this is from a book you wrote or something. Whatever the context is, if you are shadowing, do take it with a grain of salt, everything that I say. Let's take a listen and kind of break it down.
What you're calling as life right now is
what you're calling as life. Personally, I probably would use the falling intonation there. Like, what you're calling life right now.
What you're calling as life right now is like so.
Right now. That is an option. Another option. So this is kind of like when you get these little kind of like sections that are separated by commas. Very commonly, these are kind of like asides or kind of just like extra information. And so what tends to happen with these sections is the pitch tends to drop, which kind of signifies to your listener that this is like extra. It's like what you're calling life right now. And then a lot of times too, those little asides will have like a rising intonation at the end, like life right now, like something like that. That's not to say that the way you did this was wrong, just more of an alternative.
What you're calling as life right now is like soap bubbles being blown.
Is like soap bubbles. It should be plural. Just make sure it is plural. There's like soap bubbles. You want that to be plural because you're talking about it in general.
Soap bubbles being blown.
Is like soap bubbles being blown. That's kind of how you're saying it.
Bubbles being blown. It's like soap bubbles being blown.
So kind of very punchy, like soap bubbles being blown. Which again, if that's what they're doing, shadowing, cool. If it's not from shadowing, I would maybe just stress one of those words instead of all four of them. It's like soap bubbles being blown. It's like soap bubbles being blown. So stressing soap. If you are like, I need a little more emphasis, you could also stress soap bubbles being blown. It's like soap bubbles being blown. So you could also stress blown. It's like soap bubbles being blown. Soap bubbles being blown. Okay. One of those options I think will be a little more frequent. Regardless, the way you're currently doing is just a little too choppy. So we kind of want that to flow. Let's see if there's other things standing out just from this first section.
What you're calling as life right now.
Kind of also an interesting tense. I probably would just use the simple present because you're kind of talking about a fact or a general situation. So instead of saying what you are calling as life, like what I would, if it were me, I would have just said that, like what you call life. Just as a note. Okay. My mom also noticed that she would also stress blown. Thank you, Mom.
Soap bubbles being blown.
Let's look at the O sounds, which you can hear on soap and blown.
Soap bubbles being blown.
The O sounds are very exaggerated. You can oh versus like oh. So the first thing I would say, my guess is that when you're saying your O sound, your lips are kind of rounding, like oh. So I'm gonna make myself bigger for that, so you can see me nice and good. Okay, now take away the text for a sec. So again, like oh. oh. And what's happening when you're doing that is it sounds like your placement's also rising forward and kind of the breath is kind of tensing up, so not as much air makes it through. Like oh, versus like oh. One of the things that I think we see very frequently in American English, this is just my opinion. Okay, different teachers may have different views on it. But I personally believe that the way American English treats diphthongs is it kind of unifies them into a single sound, whereas in a lot of other languages you hear kind of both parts distinctly. Okay, so for instance, if you're used to saying like oh, I feel like in American English you're a little bit more frequently going to just get like an oh with a little bit of movement but relatively minimal. Oh, it's like oh, so blown. Oh, so blown. One of the other things that might be happening too, though, is that let me hear blown again.
So bubbles being blown.
Could be your N sound. The N is again a letter, just like we talked earlier about the M. The letter N is another sound that very commonly people are pronouncing with very high placement. Like how do you say an N? Are you doing like or are you doing more with a lower placement and more breath moving through? You want to be careful with the letter N because for a lot of people, when they say a vowel and then attach an N sound, their vowel changes. So like on. Make sure you're not on, or like for instance ain. Make sure you're not doing ain. You want to say ain, or in this case own. You don't want to say own. It's o. It's just kind of washing out for that o sound. Okay. Yeah. My mom also noticed the earlier part too about instead of what you are calling as life, what you call life. Again, the simple present is in general the more frequent. I'm not saying that what you're using is wrong, but it's definitely going to be a little bit less common. Okay. Moving on, though, besides O sounds.
The entire yogic process or the entire
Some nice pitch changes there.
being blown. The entire yogic process.
The entire yogi process, like that's some nice pitch changes there. That's some nice variation. Okay, the entire yoga process, so that part there, I do like your pitch shifting.
Entire yogic process or the entire spiritual process is
Or the entire yogi process, or the entire spiritual process. Did you repeat entire?
yogic process or the entire spiritual process.
So you're adding entire again. So you have the entire this and the entire that. This is a very important concept in American English called parallel structure. Okay, so this is not in the text, but this is something that you said. So that's what we'll go by. So what you're doing on one side, you're doing to the other. The entire this, the entire that. The entire yogi process or entire spiritual process. Notice that the way I'm saying it, what words am I stressing? The entire yoga process or yogi process or the entire spiritual process. Notice that I changed the stresses, right? I'm not stressing the same word. I'm not doing entire. I'm doing entire on the first one, and then I'm doing spiritual on the second one. So this is something that's very frequent when you have parallel structure in English. In general, what you do to one side, you're not going to stress the same thing the second time. So the first time I stressed entire, the second time I stressed spiritual. That's a very common thing. It adds contrast. It helps make what you're saying stand out. You don't always have to do this, and it's not going to occur in every single situation with parallel structure. It's just kind of something to compare, because it is very, very frequent.
The entire yogic process or the entire spiritual process.
Because that pattern there, the entire spiritual process, almost kind of gives you almost like an AI kind of robotic sense. Spiritual process, entire spiritual process, versus the entire spiritual process. Because if you stress spiritual, then that's going to give you more runway to go down in pitch. Spiritual process. So just something like that. Okay. I think it's going to be a little bit more natural pattern in terms of rhythm. Okay. My mom is making a comment. Such a soothing voice this person has. Agreed. This is you can make an ASMR channel on YouTube. You can talk about the entire spiritual process and the entire yoga process, and people would enjoy it, or yogi process.
Where this purple pen.
Oh, there was actually one other thing I wanted to mention.
The entire yogic process
Or I do think that your R sound is a little closed off, so if you could get a little more breath through on that R, or say like or 3 times, or. When you say it 3 times, are you saying or are you saying or? You know, if you're saying that second one, that means that your R sound is a little bit too tense. Okay, just to note.
Process or the entire.
Did it or very heavy.
Their spiritual process is to wear this purple pen. Spiritual process is to wear.
Is to wear. Is to is fine. Another way that you'll commonly hear that linked is like is the where, or you could also say is to wear, because that's just an alternative that you may hear commonly. Bubble I feel like we're missing a noun, like bubble thin what. We need some sort of object after that, I feel.
The process is to wear this bubble thin, so that one day when it bursts, there's absolutely nothing left, and it moves from the bondage of existence to the freedom of non-existence.
Just really quick on that ending, I like that. I know we're kind of running against time, so let's make this the last thing here.
And it moves from the bondage of existence.
Just quick note, bondage. Probably would use a more of a short I sound there. So instead of bondage, more bondage.
And when it bursts, there's absolutely nothing left. And it moves from the bondage of existence.
Did a bondage versus bondage. So again, a little more short I sound, bondage.
And it moves from the bondage of existence.
Of existence, good.
Freedom of non-existence.
To freedom of non-existence. And again, from the bondage of existence to freedom of non-existence. That was a nice pitch pattern there. You could even, if you wanted, use more of a falling intonation, go down a little bit lower in pitch on non-existence. Non-existence. Just a note there. Okay? But let me know your thoughts on that. Hopefully that you found that helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you. Ciao, Danny. Denny is just saying very inappropriate things in this stream. That's just really not. And then he has the nerve to say this is unacceptable. Unacceptable behavior. Have fun when the Cowboys lose to the Buccaneers. Everyone else saying bye to Denny. Don't be a stranger. Yeah. Don't be a Cowboys fan. Don't be a stranger. Facts. Deal. Oh man. Edward, our resident British English expert. Yes. Okay. Moving right along. We got a 5-second file. We're going to blitz through this. We're going to also do timestamps. While I'm doing the timestamp, a general reminder, if you're getting help from this stream, I'm so glad to hear that. There's a way you can also help me to like what you're hearing. Let us know by liking and subscribing. Okay. See who next. Dun, 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 dun. We had a 5-second file.
I should have called you sooner, but better than never, right?
I like the breath here.
I should have called you sooner, but better than never, right?
Okay. Thanks, my mom, for saying lots of help from this stream. Appreciate you, Mom. Your American English is going to be so good next time I see you. It's going to be so good. My mom is a native speaker. Did I do a timestamp? Did I just say I was going to do a timestamp? I think I just said I was going to do one, but I didn't actually do one. This looks. I think I did a weird order. Oh well. 59. 11. Ah, that's why, because it's doing weird things on its own. How can I fix this? That works. I don't know what that timestamp was supposed to be. It just made up a whole date. Can you guys see this? Like, what? Huh? What's going on here? Oh my gosh, this Google Doc's just making up a date. I want to guess that was maybe like 45. Doesn't like that. Why does it keep making 21? Why? Okay. Let's just try that then. Okay. That's my problem. Anyways, let's get to this file here. Sorry about all that.
I should have called you sooner, but better than never, right?
I think we forgot the word late. Better late than never. Better late than never. My mom says ChatGPT wants to join. I didn't even know my mom knows what ChatGPT is. That's wild.
I should have called you sooner.
I really like this. I'll be honest. There's a lot of emotion here. Like it kind of like regret. Like I should have called you sooner. I like your R sound at the end. There's so much breath, and things like that.
I should have called you sooner.
The pitch progression is great. Good high pitch. I should have called you sooner. I should have called you sooner. You know, so I really do like that progression. Elshin wants to know if he can send his file by email. You can. See, I did not know this. But apparently you can just do it. That's probably how the singer made his file. I'm learning things. No, you could do that with Vocal. Cool. But yeah, if you can try following what Amanda's doing, because that'll make it much easier on my end. Okay. And my mom also notes that school districts are restricting the use of ChatGPT. The possibility of cheating. I mean, it's super powerful. I've had it write an essay that probably could get like a C in high school, which is pretty impressive. It's better than some high schoolers. Anyways. Okay. Going back to this.
I should have called you sooner. I should have called you sooner. But I should have called you sooner.
Yeah, I really don't have a whole lot to say about that. I like that part. There's some great contrast just with the pitches you're using. And alternatives like should have called. Like a lot of times should have becomes like shoulda. I should have called. I should have called. Just a note. Okay. But again, you could also use the should have called with a slightly firmer V sound. That works as well. Just talk about alternatives.
Called you sooner. But I should have called you sooner.
That I like your R sound at the end of sooner. There's a lot of breath coming through on that R sound, which tends to be a challenge. You know, a lot of people are doing a sooner, It was like sooner. Some great pitch differences too. There, it's like ooh, sooner. So some good movements. Let's take a listen to the second half.
But better than never, right?
But better late than never. But better late than never.
But better than never, right?
So again, we are missing better late, and so for this expression, you will need the late, just to note. But besides that,
but better than never, right? Sooner. But better than never, right?
But
sooner. But better than never, right?
I want to hear the better than never.
But better than never, right?
Better than.
But better than never, right?
Never.
Never, right? Never, right?
So that R that you make so well on sooner is a little bit of a problem on never. Listen to how you're saying that sound on never.
Never, right?
Never. You were immediately closing it off. I'm wondering if it's either an issue with the R or it's an issue with the V before the R. So like I would practice doing like ver, and then do that like 3 times, like ver, just to make sure we're not shifting your R sound anywhere in that on account of the V. So watch out for that. Try to get that a little bit more open on never.
Better than never, right?
Better than never, because you can immediately hear the breath close off.
Better than never, right?
Better than never versus better than never, right?
Better than never, right?
Another option too, this is not something you have to do, but something that can also help this also sound natural, is with right. So you're saying a very pronounced T.
Have a right?
Right. You're not that T. I'm exaggerating a bit, right? But a held T. So when you have a T at the end of a word, where it's the last part of a thought group or the end of a sentence or a T before another consonant, usually it's going to be held. Okay, not always, but very commonly. So instead of right, a lot of times it's right. So again, I'm closing off. This is the one time when you have a held sound, that's the one time where we can cut the breath. Okay, so close things off. Try not to let that air through. So instead of saying right, just becomes right. The other thing that you want to consider with held sounds too is that in general, the vowel is going to be faster and weaker. So instead of saying right, it becomes right. Compare right. I. Hear that difference there? Because that is something that occurs with a held sound. But yeah, those are just some quick thoughts there. Not a super long sentence. Especially in the first half, I think there's a lot of things to like. Lots of great breath, lots of good pitch movement. And let's be honest, if you're getting breath, if you're getting pitches, and if you're keeping your placement low the entire time, vowel sounds, consonant sounds, lots of that doesn't really matter. You can achieve a very natural sound with incorrect mouth position. If your placement's right, in the right spot, you have enough air coming through, and you have a wide enough variety of pitches. And I think that's not to say that I think you're mispronouncing things in the first part. I thought in general it sounded good. But just in general, if you ever feel like you're mispronouncing a vowel sound or a consonant sound, it doesn't necessarily have to matter if you're doing all those other things right. In my mom notes, I'm thinking we Americans are very sloppy with our speech. I certainly understand the viewpoint. I probably wouldn't phrase it as like sloppiness. I would probably say that, every language has the goal of trying to express an idea or a concept as quickly and clearly as possible. Every language wants to do this. No language wants to be slow. Different languages have different techniques that they use to achieve that. What we see in American English is that American English is a stress time language, which means that your stress syllables are going to be higher pitch and generally held longer, and words that are not stressed, or parts of words that are not stressed, are going to be faster at a lower pitch. That's how we understand things. And we understand things also with contrast. This is why pitch is important, because if you're only using like 3 or 4 pitches, it's very easy for things to blend together and be hard to understand. Whereas if you are using, if you use more pitches, you're allowing there to be more contrast between your words. So even if I'm saying things quickly and very reduced, if I use a wide range of pitches, I'm going to be able to still be very understandable. So for instance, if I say a sentence like how was your trip to New York? If I say how was your trip to New York? Something like that. I might only stress the word York. So everything else before that could potentially be reduced. If I only use like 2 or 3 pitches, like how was your trip to New York? How was your trip to New York? That's not a whole range of pitches. But if I lengthen that, let's say I start a little higher, I keep going down, and then on New York, I go up high again. How was your trip to New York? 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 In terms of speed, I'm not doing a lot of things differently, but the second time I'm adding so many more pitches, and that's how an American English listener is going to be able to understand you. So even if you're reducing words and not making them very strong. How was your trip to New York? 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 So this is why it's super important to expand your use of pitches in your speech. Otherwise, it's going to be very hard for people to understand you in American English. While I am right here, I'm just going to stop sharing for a moment. Let me know again, chats, one thing. If there's one thing you've learned today, let me know what it is. One thing I do want to again remind you of was we have a program called Mission English, and if you're finding this helpful, this is in my opinion the best opportunity out there. I'm biased, but having seen what other teachers are doing with their programs and things like that, I think this is the greatest opportunity for pronunciation because you're working directly with a teacher twice a day for 30-minute classes, and you're only paying one price. One of the things with pronunciation is it has to be study that is consistent and regular. If you're trying to improve your pronunciation, then the reality is you need to be dedicating a certain amount of time every single day. And if you don't, like if you miss a day, you feel it. You're like, oh man, I feel a little rusty. Like I need to work out again. Ugh. And so with that in mind, because basically what happened was my schedule, there are times when my schedule fills up and it's hard for students to have class. And that's a shame because, students trying to work with me, we're trying to get some practice in on the regular. And I'm like, how can I get this? Because again, pronunciation is something that if you're serious about it and you want to make a real change that you can notice, not just other people, that you can notice, it has to be every day. So that's why we've created this program called Mission English. We meet twice a day for 30 minutes. All the classes that you see are put into the Facebook group and you can rewatch them. There's over 100 classes on there right now. When you join, you get all of them. And then you're going to get all the future classes. You know what I mean? So this is such an opportunity for you. I encourage you, if it's not something that you're able to afford, we have other opportunities as well. This gives you an idea of all the services that we have here on the channel. But, in terms of value, I think Mission English is by and large one of the greatest things that you guys can do if you're serious about pronunciation and you're making that a goal this year. Yeah. But besides that, we can also listen to your pronunciation files here too, here at the Schwa Mill. That is our goal. Sharing screen, sharing audio. We are making our way through our original batch. I have a 24-second file of an 18-second file. Let's go with the 24. All right, sharing audio. Take a look.
Hi. So I'm
Mom.
learning how to play the mountain dulcimer, and it's definitely a learning curve. So we'll see how it goes. I'll let you know my progress. It really is a nice little instrument. If you ever want to look it up, it's the Appalachian Mountain Dulcimer.
Okay. Thank you, Mom. I'm going to play that one more time. Let's just kind of identify some things. Again, my mom's a native speaker, so some things to do. My mom makes a note about her file. Actually, before we do that, Mayo knowing that reductions are cool. Most languages use them, but usually don't realize it in our daily speech. That is true. Every language has their form of reductions and things. I would agree with that. My mom notes that my dad said that when she makes recordings, she doesn't sound natural. It's just hard for her to talk naturally and record my voice. My pitches are off, I guess. I mean, we'll take a listen and things like that. I mean, we can there's still lots of very valuable information we can get from this. And Mayo says, hoping you're bored, see him every day. Nope. Sometimes even twice a day. Nope, definitely don't get bored. I enjoy our conversations. Let's take a listen again to this. She didn't actually send a text, if I remember, because she's going all cuff. There's no script. No script. So what's happening here?
Hi. So
again, just some immediate things. So to kind of notice just that the amount of breath that comes through on the I sound and also the O. So like hi. So hi. So so it's not hi. So it's hi. So just lots of air coming through.
Hi. So I'm learning how to play the mountain dulcimer, and it's definitely a learning curve. So
it's definitely a learning curve. So that's that sort of rising intonation there.
I'm learning how to play the mountain dulcimer.
Learning how to play those reductions there. Learning how to play.
So I'm learning how to play the.
Notice the pitch there. Learning how to play. Learning how to play. So again, just notice the range and pitches there.
Mountain dulcimer.
Mountain dulcimer. mountain. So we get that held T sound when you have a T before an N. Mountain.
I'm learning how to play the mountain dulcimer.
Hear that mountain. So again, it's not mountain, it's mountain. Okay, so make sure this is again another situation where you need your N sounds to have a low placement. Just a note.
To play the mountain dulcimer, and it's definitely a
mountain dulcimer, and listen to that part.
And it's so I'm learning how to play the mountain dulcimer, and it's
so basically you have a 3 steps going on with your pitch. It's like mountain, that's your first unit. Dulcimer, that's your second unit. Mountain, dulcimer, and then we're going to go 1 step lower with the and mountain, dulcimer, and mountain, dulcimer, and so that's kind of a very, very, very common pitch pattern.
And it's definitely so. I'm learning how to play the mountain dulcimer.
And in fact, you could even add in that first part. I'm learning high part how to play. Next part, the mountain dulcimer, and so just see how everything's like a staircase. Everything's just gradually going down, 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 down.
And it's definitely a learning curve. So we'll see how it goes. So
notice so when used as a filler word to link to your next thought group, you want to drag out the O. So it's not just so, it's so. You can drag out that vowel.
Curve. So we'll see how it goes. I'll let you.
Also note the intonation there. So kind of like a slight rise, just to let your listener know there's more information coming. So that's another strategy you can use in your own speech when you're trying to use filler words.
Know my progress. It really is a nice little instrument.
It really is a nice little instrument. It really is a nice little instrument.
It really is a nice little instrument.
Nice little instrument. So this is also that little part there, nice little instruments. This is what I call like a 3-word group, like nice little instrument, like adjective, noun, nice little instrument. When you get these sort of phrases like nice little instrument, really old car, never gonna work. There's so many ways you can have like 3-word groups. It could be adjective, noun, adverb, adjective, noun, verb, adjective, noun. There's so many ways you can do this, but the typical pattern is a little bit of stress and slightly higher pitch on the first word. Then you're going to drop, and then your last word of the group is going to get your heaviest emphasis.
It really is a nice little instrument.
Nice little instrument. Nice little instrument. So super common pattern there.
If you ever want to look it up, it's the Appalachian Mountain Dulcimer.
Appalachian Mountain Dulcimer. Appalachian Mountain Dulcimer. Another kind of 3-word group there. Okay, so some quick things from my mom. Appreciate you, Mom. Thank you for sending your file. We clap it up for moms in this house. I hope you do too in your house. You clap up your mom. All right. Who's next? Who's our last original file? Then we're gonna dig up some more. Okay. And my mom says, thank you for or Emmanuel says, thank you for the audio. Lots of great things to learn. Super helpful. Agreed. Who's this?
So I woke up early this morning to get ready for my daily call. And then I took a walk outside and told one of my colleagues that I just found out that there will be train strikes on Tuesday. And I also told him somebody has to cover for me on that day.
Okay. Cool. Thanks, Sycamore, for sending this file as always. There's some things we're going to identify just regards to stress. Yeah, I heard that. Public transit right now in England seems kind of crazy. Well, the strikes. That's probably one of the biggest differences like between the US and Europe is just like strikes. I know some countries, it depends on the country too, but I know like Italy, they were always on strikes. Even like trash, public transit, anything that could strike. I feel like in the US, the only thing that you hear striking the most frequently would be teachers. Even that's not like all the time. Anyways.
So I woke up early this morning to get ready for my daily call.
So I woke up early this morning to get ready for my daily call. I would consider on call using a rising intonation because your story isn't about waking up early for the call. It's about whatever is going to come next. waking up. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad you woke up. It's always good to wake up. You never know. But the highlight of the story sounds like it's going to be the part that comes next. So I would consider rising intonation after. So I woke up early this morning, get ready for my daily call, and
So I woke up early this morning to get ready for my daily call. And then I took
another thing too is that something that I very commonly see English learners doing is thought groups or like pauses when they're speaking fall almost always on like punctuation. So if there's a comma, there's a pause. If there's a period, there's a pause. If there's whatever, there's a pause. And that certainly works. Those are the safe places to pause. They're fine. But I think when you listen to native speakers, you're going to see much wider variation. So I would experiment with saying this with, instead of the break on call, maybe the break after and, or maybe after then. To give you an example, if I put the break on call, I woke up early this morning, get ready for my daily call, and then I took a walk outside. Compare that with a break on and. I woke up early this morning, get ready for my daily call, and then I took a walk, something like that, versus after then. I woke up early this morning, get ready for my call, and then I took a walk outside. It's like just kind of experiment with different places to break. One of the things that I think you'll find is that if you extend the thought group a little longer into your next sentence, it's going to actually help link things together more, because if you're pausing at the end of a sentence all the time, what that does is it becomes very predictable, and English doesn't like it when things become too predictable. The other thing too is that you're kind of killing your momentum, because your sentence is done, and then like that's it. So it's a way to kind of disengage with your listener, because the ideas just sound so finite. Whereas by extending the thought group into the next sentence, you're able to, that's what I just did right there. You're able to pause, then say the next idea, and your listener's already invested in what you're saying. So just kind of another like rhetorical device that you can kind of play around with a bit. Let's go back. Were there any pronunciation things there?
I woke up early this morning.
So I woke up early this morning. I woke up early this morning. You're kind of putting stress on early.
So I woke up early this morning.
So I woke up early this morning. Which is fine. I just, as a reader, I don't really know why we're stressing early. Like, I woke up early this morning to get ready for my daily, so it's your daily call. So as a listener, I'm a little bit confused because you're stressing early, so you're making this sound special. I woke up early this morning. But if this is your daily call, I'm guessing the daily call is always at this time. So maybe you always wake up early. So why is this early so special? Like, I'm a little bit semantically confused by the stress. I'm not sure why. As a listener, I don't know what to make of early getting that extra emphasis, if that makes sense. On the other hand, if this is something that you woke up at your normal time, which is just always early, so in that case, I woke up early. I woke up early this morning, get ready for my daily call. I woke up early this morning, get ready for my daily call. I woke up early this morning, get ready for my daily call. I mean, you could honestly even just stress call. I woke up early this morning, so I get ready to. I woke up early this morning. I woke up early this morning to get ready for my daily call, like something like that. So I would just kind of play around with the pitch and the stressed word.
So I woke up early this morning.
I would also say on early, listen to how you're saying woke up and then early.
So I woke up early this.
The level of clarity on the breath isn't as open on early as it is on woke up. Woke up, it sounds pretty open, lots of breath passing through your throat, chest. Early feels cut off immediately. Like I feel like I'm hearing like woke up early, versus like woke up early. So just trying to keep that open on the R and the dark L there.
So I woke up early this morning to get ready for my daily call.
To get ready
this morning to get ready for
To get ready. You're kind of giving me the same pitch over and over. Get ready, get ready. To get ready, to get ready. I would try to add some more contrast, maybe using a lower pitch on get. Okay. To get ready.
ready for my daily call.
To get ready for my daily call. To get ready for my daily call.
For my daily call. This morning to get ready for my daily call.
Yes, you're kind of giving me a range of maybe like 2-3 pitches. Get ready for my daily call versus get ready for my daily call. Get ready for my daily call. I would like some of our lower pitches to go a little lower.
Ready for my daily call. And then I took a walk outside.
Watch out for tuck. It's like tuck, tuck.
And then I took a walk.
Dude, I took, and then I took versus then I took.
Oh. And then I took a walk outside and told one of my colleagues that I just found out that there will be train strikes on Tuesday.
There'll be train strikes on Tuesday. I probably wouldn't stress Tuesday. I'd probably stress train. Told one of my colleagues I just found out there will be train strikes on Tuesday. There'll be train strikes on Tuesday. A lot of times, adverbs of time or time-related words don't actually get the stress. Just a note. Not always. But in general, like Tuesday, I wouldn't expect to get stressed there. I'd probably stress, again, train. Found out there'd be train strikes on Tuesday.
One of my colleagues that I just found out that there will be train strikes and told one of my colleagues that
I like that. Told one of my colleagues, that's some good pitch patterns and things like that.
Found out.
I just found out. The way you read that there makes it sound like you were reading. It didn't make it sound like normal speech.
And told one of my colleagues that I just found out.
Probably would take off. And so just found out, more just found out. I told one of my colleagues I just found out. Like something like that would give you a more natural pattern in speech. Like that I just found out. Or if you don't want to stress just, told one of my colleagues I just found out that there will be, like I would go lower. Told one of my colleagues I just found out there would be, told one of my colleagues I just found out there would be something like that.
There will be train strikes on Tuesday.
Let's hear that there will be.
I just found out that there will be train strikes.
There will be. That's fine. You could reduce that and contract it. Like there'll be. Like the there'll be. So instead there will be, more there'll be. Okay, just a note on the contraction.
There will be train strikes on Tuesday. And I also told him somebody has to cover for me on that day.
That day. Again, time words typically are not stressed. I would stress cover. Told him somebody has to cover for me on that day. You don't even need the on. Somebody has to cover for me that day. Someone has to cover for me that day. I would stress cover. Okay. So hopefully some of those pronunciation things on some vowels, pitch patterns, stress patterns, hopefully you find that helpul Sycamore and everyone else. Let me know if anything there is not clear, but thank you so much for sending that file. Okay, just a quick note, guys. So one of the things that we've mentioned a lot today, we talked about our Mission English program, which again meets twice a day, Monday through Friday. So if you want to join me twice a day, Monday through Friday, at these times for a half-hour class, we would love to have you. Go to fluentamerican.com to find out more. Another option, though, is we also have a group on Telegram where every single day of the week, basically, I post a challenge group of words to say. You can then send in audio, just audio. It takes like 2 minutes. And then I send you feedback within 24 hours. Or my assistant, Lenore, she sends in feedback too. And it just gives you some suggestions on how to pronounce things more clearly and things like that. Just kind of walk through what that whole process is like, because I think this is something that some of you may be interested in. Please. I think your O sounds are a little bit tense. I'm going to let O take off the T on center. The things you can see is kind of similar to the day where we're listening to you. You send in a file and then I give some quick feedback and things like that. So if you're trying to get just a couple minutes of feedback, because again, pronunciation is about consistency, right? You want to practice a little bit every day. So give me 2-3 minutes of your day and you can get your pronunciation practice in. You know what I mean? So that's just another option that we have. Manual notes, it's super great having him. Me? Wow, that's the best decision I've ever made to attend his classes. Emmanuel, stop it. I said I wouldn't cry today. Don't make me break my promise. Don't make me break my promise. It's getting really mushy in here. It's getting mushy in that chat. I might have to send Nightbot on some people because it's getting a little uncomfortably mushy. Let's take a look at my files really quick. Sycamore, Emmanuel, Ashok, Junji. Our anonymous file with the very pleasant ASMR voice. Denny, my mom. Manuel's original file. Guys, this is the last file that I see. I have not done timestamps. I have failed miserably with the timestamps. Not miserably, but I totally forgot one. I'll have to dig through the file for that. Okay, our next file we're going to take a look at then. Last file I see. Elchin has sent us a book. Send us his audiobook to review before he gets it published. Okay. Talking about, looks like boxing. Let's see what he's got. Give me a moment to share my screen with you all. Give me a second. All right. Elchin. What do you have for me? Let's take a look.
And now, without question.
Amazing about the sound. Everyone's going so fancy. Everyone's doing sound effects. Like, we had cats. We had knocking on doors. Like, what is this? Is crazy. Everyone's going all out. I am here for it. Do it.
And now, without question, #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, 29-0, Khabib Nurmagomedov.
I am not going to be able to. That name is going to trip me up for. It's going to give me nightmares in my sleep.
World is in awe of your greatness once again. I'll give you as much time to gather your emotions, but I see your opponent taking the gloves off. Your thoughts on an epic championship performance tonight? Congratulations.
Elchin, if you're here, can you tell me, was this shadowing or did you make all this original text? That would be helpful for me, because if you're shadowing, do take everything I say with a grain of salt. So let's put some context to this. So we have an interviewer interviewing a champion or someone who won a fight, it sounds like. We have the crowd noise. He's trying to get, information for his network. Okay, so just excitement, but he's also trying to remain objective while also kind of giving praise to the person. Okay, so these are just some things that are going to help with context when we're giving feedback. Okay. Edward says, never before I felt so happy and at ease while attending a course. Oh, thanks, Edward. I appreciate you. I appreciate that. Elchin says it was shadowing. Cool. I think shadowing sports stuff is cool. We're shadowing sports. They need to convey a lot of emotion and things like that from like sportscasts. So do take. I don't have the original file, so do take everything I say with a grain of salt. Okay. But let's see what's going on.
And now, without question, #1 pound-for-pound fight.
Those P's are really heavy there, like pound for pound, versus pound for pound. So instead of stressing the P's, I would personally recommend stressing the ow. Sounds like ow or ow. Pound for pound instead of pound for pound. Right, pound for pound. Because it's just a note there.
And now, without question, #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, 29-0.
I want to hear that fighter in the world part.
#1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
I want to hear fighter in the world. Fighter in the.
#1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
Fighter in the. Can you say fighter in the world? It's like fighter in the world. I don't care how you do the in the, whether you do in the or if you do in the. I don't care. It's your choice. But pitches a little bit and a little more breath. Fighter in the world. Fighter in the world. Okay, fighter in the world.
For pound fighter in the world, 29.
Some of it also might be world. Let's see how you're saying world.
World 20.
Yeah, I think it's the dark L sound. Your dark L sound is a little tight. They're blocking your breath. Like world versus world. So just trying to get a little more breath. World. Okay.
World 29-0. Khabib Nurmagomedov.
29-0.
In the world, 29-0.
The O, I like 95% of it, but the very end of it gets a little tense, like O versus O. Try to keep that breath flowing just a touch longer at the end. 29-0.
Fighter in the world, 29-0. Khabib.
29-0.
Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Nurmagomedov.
The world is in awe.
I like this world a little bit more, but still, even on that dark, I would like a little more breath.
The world is in awe of your greatness once.
The world is in awe of your greatness. The world is in awe of your greatness. Maybe a little more open on awe.
The world is in awe of your greatness once.
Actually, it's pretty open.
The world is in awe of your greatness once again. I'll give you as much time to.
Nice. I like your linking of thought groups here.
And I'll give you as much time to.
Once again, I'll give you as much time. I like how you just kept moving after once again.
Again, I'll give you as much time to.
I'm wondering, I would listen back to the original audio, see how they say the t part, because my guess is the pitch will be a little lower. Just a little bit lower in pitch, because right now it's a little high. Like time to versus like time to. My guess is the pitch is a little lower.
Time to gather your emotions, but I
see gather.
Greatness once again. I'll give you as much time to gather your emotions, but I see your cornerman taking the gloves, and I'll give you as much time to gather your emotions. But
gather your emotions. Gather. Again, the R sounds a little strong, kind of blocking off some air. I would say like gather your emotions. Gather your emotions. So again, pitch is probably dropping. Stress on emotions. Gather your emotions. Gather your emotions. Gather your. So that's the part I would be paying attention to. Gather your.
I see your cornerman taking the gloves off. Time to gather your emotions, but I see your cornerman taking the time to gather your emotions, but I see your cornerman taking the gloves off. And I'll give you as much time to gather your emotions, but I see your cornerman taking the gloves off.
You're a cornerman.
As much time to gather your emotions, but I see your cornerman taking the gloves off.
Cornerman. But I see your cornerman. And maybe a little lower pitch on men. This is a compound noun, stressing corner. It's like cornerman. Maybe getting a little bit more open on your R sounds once more, but also just pay attention to what pitches they're using in the original audio, like cornerman.
The gloves off. Emotions, but I see your cornerman taking the gloves off.
Watch out for gloves. Schwa sound, so it's not gla, it's more gla. Taking the gloves off.
But I see your cornerman taking the gloves off.
Gloves off. Yeah, it's just a little more of a schwa sound, so it's not gla, more gla.
Your thoughts on an epic championship performance tonight? Congratulations. Your thoughts on an epic championship?
Want to hear epic?
The gloves off. Your thoughts on.
I like the your thoughts part. Good.
On an epic championship.
Feels like you're saying epic versus epic. A little more short eye sound on that. Ick. It's an epic, more epic. On an epic.
Your thoughts on an epic championship performance tonight? Congratulations.
Epic championship performance tonight.
Your thoughts on an epic championship performance tonight? Congratulations.
Performance tonight. Again, listen to original audio to see, but for me, I would have expected performance to have a slightly higher pitch, championship performance tonight, and then tonight to have a lower pitch. Epic championship performance tonight. Epic championship performance tonight. And then congratulations.
Your thoughts on an epic championship performance tonight? Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Your thoughts on an epic championship performance tonight? Congratulations.
Congratulations is a little choppy, so I would just compare yours to the original, just see that you make sure you're doing the same thing. I feel like I'm hearing congratulations.
Championship performance tonight.
Congratulations versus congratulations. Like trying to keep the breath flowing a little bit more because it feels slightly staccato, a little choppy. Okay. Things like that. All right. Elchin, let me know. Overall, pretty good. I like your shadowing. Good context. I think there's some things here that really do capture that kind of broadcast aspect, like championship performance tonight. Congratulations. Like that's a very kind of a professional way of saying like congratulations. Like your friends would be like, hey, congratulations, something like that. But like that, congratulations. Like that's a very kind of more formal broadcast network kind of feel to it. So I do think you captured that well. Just pay attention to all those things I identify with regards to stress, opening up some sounds like the R, and things like that. And I think they'll sound even more natural. Okay. I'm going to double check our documents. Guys, I think, if I am not mistaken, that takes us through all of our major sounds. Give it up for yourselves for spending about an hour, 40 minutes of your time on a Saturday just studying American English pronunciation. Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought that we'd be doing this? Okay. Do have a couple quick questions here.
Question.
Jeff, what are your thoughts on t versus tu? When we say American English tends to be less formal versus like tu instead of t. I don't know. I don't think it comes down to one you like more, one you like less. My guess, Mom, is that depending on what you're saying and who you're talking to and all kinds of context, my guess is you probably use both without realizing it. Would be my guess. But yeah, I think that I don't have any preference. I think t or da, like however you pronounce it, depending on the situation. I mean, these are both frequently used forms. I'm all about, which one is being, which one sounds natural. They both can sound natural. I know a lot of times, like, that's an interesting debate about the formality aspect. I know a lot of people associate reductions and linking and things with like formal versus informal speech, but I think the reality is that even when people are doing public speaking or even in meetings, that these are things you're going to hear. This is how people talk. I feel like formal versus informal, a lot of that I feel like has more of I feel like vocabulary enters that discussion more, but I think in terms of like speech patterns and things like that, that's less of an issue of formality. This is how people talk. It's hard to completely change how you talk in a meeting situation versus when you're talking with your friends in terms of reductions and linking. I'll say that, in formal speech, you might be talking a little slower and a little more carefully. And if you're talking slower, well, then you're making it harder to link and reduce because you're just talking slower. Linking and reductions occur in rapid speech. You need sounds to be kind of joined together and close. They need to be close to one another. If you're pausing a lot, it's harder to link things together. Do you see what I just did? It's harder to link, because I spoke a little slower. But if I did it faster, it's harder to link, So I don't think that it's an issue of formality. I think it's what fits the pattern that you're using in terms of like your spacing of words. Hopefully that makes sense. Saying pretty good audio. Agreed. My mom says Midwesterners tend to say "tuh." Maybe. I don't know. Mayo takes a note that it's up to Jeff. I'm going to start something up in the future. Yeah, I'm open to having, especially people like Mission English members coming back on the stream. I'm definitely open to it. I thought about today. I just kind of ran out of time with setting things up. Other things. Barack Obama always used to say it too. Maybe for these reasons. Okay. Oh, and everyone's just like, there's so much love happening in this room. We got like the mushiness is really it's high. Crank it up to 8. All right. Well, like I said, I think that kind of concludes our feedback sessions for today. Thank you guys so much for spending part of your Saturday with me here at the Schwa Mill. Or again, every single Saturday at this time, we're taking a look at your American English pronunciation. If you've enjoyed this stream, or if you found this helpful, whether on the replay or right now with me here, please be sure to help me out and like the stream, because that does help get the stream out to more people. Join the mush side. Oh my gosh, no. I refuse. I will stay cold and heartless. I will never step over there. Thanks to everyone who sent in files today. Again, we'll be back next Saturday, same time, taking a look at more pronunciation files. If this is your first time watching us, you didn't submit a file today, then please, what you can do is save this document, because we use the same document that we use every single week, so that way we can see your audio. Once more, my name is Jeff. You are watching the Schwa Mill. If you guys also want to help me out too, there is a survey just kind of asking about just our different YouTube offerings and things like that. So it would be great to have your feedback. It can help give direction to the channel. Okay. I will see you guys later. Have a good day. Have a good night. Good afternoon. And I will see you guys. Of course, really generating slow. Oh my gosh. You guys take care. Have a good day. Have a good night. Good afternoon. We'll be back crafting your accent next week at the Schwa Mill. You guys take care.